Another recession, another one. These are street level signs that I've seen personally that we're in a recession. So, 2 straight months of negative GDP growth is obviously the technical definition of the recession. But let's look at a few things that I've seen that kind of show that this recession is getting worse and worse and worse. People are getting like very, very tight on their money and things are starting to clench up. So Sacramento County's homeless population nearly doubled between 2019 and 2022. It stands to reason as the housing got more expensive and there was all this inflation. Obviously, gas prices, food prices, all that kind of stuff skyrocketed. People get displaced from their homes, and it'd be very easy to get to a point where you don't have hardly any money and then you're all bound up. You can't move around vehicle wise, you can't put gas in the car, so on and so forth. So you have limited ability to maybe drive to go to work or do something, and then suddenly rent comes due, and if these eviction moratoriums, eventually are removed, then people get displaced from their housing. So now, obviously, this is from 2019 to 2022, but visibly in California, in my opinion, it is looking bad. Now, I was in California in 2019, summer 2019, and definitely saw some bad stuff. But then now being in the Los Angeles area, being through Bakersfield seemed really bad. Kind of the rumor on the streets was that Los Angeles County has been busing people up to Bakersfield. Now that's unconfirmed. Can't really confirm that, but there were a lot of homeless people in Bakersfield, a lot of homeless people in the Bay Area. And this is saying Los Angeles has the homeless population has grown by 4.1%, in 2022, from 2020 to 2022. Um, I don't know if we can necessarily go by this because if they are bussing people out or whatever they're doing to try to get the Olympics, I guess here is the rumor. So we'll kind of see, but it visibly seems like more people are getting homeless. Guys can leave a comment if you think that. But now another thing that I've seen personally is a lot of people saying that they have two jobs, and a lot of times it was like women, like never married, sort of like these single, never married women that had two jobs, which there's nothing wrong with having the two jobs and stuff like that. I just found it strikingly interesting because I didn't really run into a lot of people, let's say 5, 10 years ago that were saying that they had two jobs necessarily. Um, Especially if it was like kind of like they're on two like full-time W-2 jobs or like one full W-2 and then maybe like a part-time job. It seemed to be a lot, but during the pandemic, a lot of people were trying to pull this off like remotely, I guess. And this was kind of funny. I started watching this video. Employees fired and sued for working two jobs. This was a guy over the
In
Netherlands, I guess.
Holland, in the EU, was fired for being overemployed and working two jobs at the same time until his coworker ratted him out. Now, being overemployed is something that's becoming more and more popular, at least in the United States. If you don't know what that is, it's
So yeah, anyway, I mean, people were trying to pull that off during the pandemic when there was remote work. But I feel like now, since housing prices went so high and stuff like that, rent and home ownership got so expensive that essentially people working like two jobs just to live a very basic life and keep a roof over their head. Now, I have a friend in Sacramento, and he actually recently got his taillights removed and his windows busted out and stuff like that. I don't know if his catalytic converter got cut out, but that's one thing you see is all this theft and you know these thugs like removing taillights and cutting catalytic converters out. Another thing, so I was going to review some of these gig economy apps and kind of in accordance with this whole situation of having two jobs and stuff like that. I thought it would be a good thing to review some of these gig economy things. I had a friend that was saying that Taskrabbit was pretty good from what he had heard. I tried to get on there and basically you couldn't even sign up like in the Los Angeles area. It's just overbooked. There's too many people on the app. So I was like, well, maybe I can try out some kind of other app and review that for the channel. So I checked out InstaWork, and for the most part, depending where you were, there really wasn't that much. Or you click on it, and it was like saying like all booked up, and you could get put on a wait list for certain like jobs that you could sign up for. and it just seemed like stuff, even stuff that kind of popped up where I was like, oh, maybe I could go do that or something. And then it got soaked up like very, very quickly. So I just think there's just tons and tons of people flooding on these kind of gig economy apps. Another one actually was this SparkDriver, and I saw that on a couple other videos where they were saying, "Oh yeah, this is one of the best kind of gig apps," and it's like you shop at Walmart. And I've heard conflicting things. That's why I wanted to review it. This says shop, drive, earn. Other people have said, no, you don't actually shop. You just basically, it's already an employee already like basically got all the stuff, and then you drive it and deliver it to another location. So I was going to review that and stuff like that. But in a lot of the areas, in places like the Los Angeles areas and stuff, it's all booked up. You can't get on there. They have too many people trying to do this. Another thing, total debt balances. So if you look at like 2008 and you kind of look at these debt levels, like housing debt, and then also, consumer debt and like other debt kind of, it could be, and I haven't looked exactly what's all added in here, but it's just saying non-consumer debt. Uh, obviously we're at higher debt levels now. Obviously, as housing got more expensive, and the value of the dollar has decreased in value, then everybody's debt load is higher than it was during the last you know during the last recession. So there for a while, things kind of went down. People were able to pay down some of their debts and stuff, it seems. And then now it's spiked back up and it's higher than there. So we're just kind of seeing that on a ground level. I've definitely noticed that people getting very, very tight on money. Now, energy costs have went way up, and electricity and water bills, and definitely during the peak times and stuff like that. The California electrical grid is pretty much at max capacity at this point.
On Tuesday afternoon, the state's power grid reached a record demand of over 52,000 megawatts of power. California's maximum capacity, 56,000 megawatts.
I think a lot of
So yeah, it's just been extremely hot and everything. And so during the peak hours, people keeping their houses like extremely hot, like, trying to keep, from the hours of 4 to 9 o'clock or something, houses sitting there keeping the thermostat or something at 85 degrees or something like pretty hot, just so they don't run the electricity during the peak hours. Also with the water, peeing in toilets 4 or 5 times before you flush it. I know that sounds third world, but I mean, that's just kind of what normal kind of like middle class people are doing, just to try to like save money and try to like not get hit with these, high costs for the water and for the electricity and stuff. So then, in accordance to the gig economy stuff, you're thinking, okay, well, what else could you do? And then, so like, okay, you're out here on Indeed, and you're thinking, well, you could pick up something pretty quick. And then it's like, well, substitute teacher, San Fernando Valley, up to $250 a day. And you're thinking, well, I mean, that's really good if you're there from like 8 to 3 o'clock. And then, you could do something the rest of the day or something, $250, urgently hiring and everything. You're thinking like, oh yeah, you can get in on that. And then it's just like they're pushing this whole vaccine thing, and you're just thinking, wow, like they're really still trying to like push that agenda. Did they not get the memo that it didn't actually work? So it's just, so about the time you think you're able to do something, you're not qualified. Several years ago, actually, it was always like Aventis Bioservices was always doing this thing where it was like, oh, the first week you can earn $400 given plasma. And I went by there all the time, all the time, all the time. And I thought, that wouldn't be bad. Like, I could go in there and do this, whatever it was, like 3 times or something, you get $400. And I went in there, stood in this long line of tweakers, and then, basically got there and they said, well, your heart rate's too slow. Like you're not qualified. So, I mean, it's bad. I can't substitute teach. I can't give plasma. It's not good. Another thing that I've seen, and this has been going on for a while, this isn't just necessarily a 2022 thing or this recession type thing, but Walmart keeping like condoms and stuff behind glass cases. Also, I have a friend in Tucson, and he said the Ace Hardware by his house that they were locking up $10 tools. Just the theft and the crime has just been through the roof. And obviously we see this stuff in San Francisco. And this has been going on a little bit longer in 2022. This is from December of 2021. Car owners in San Francisco are leaving their trunks open to avoid having windows smashed by thieves as crimes run rampant. Cops call development uprising. Unsurprising. Um, so yeah, I mean, the way the laws are in San Francisco, and I was reading that there was I don't know, something in the last month, there was like 3,000 window break-ins. I actually had a friend that went out there, he got his car window like busted out. You really, it's just completely lawless. People just trying to steal stuff all the time. There's no, um, they don't get in trouble and everything. And it's seemingly even when they get pictures taken of their license plates and stuff like that, it doesn't seem like anybody gets in trouble. They don't get prosecuted. And a lot of this stuff doesn't get reported. So, that, and it's kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword because with this other thing I'm going to tell you, and I was trying to get a better view on the speeding tickets and stuff because I actually got a ticket up in Monterey, California, and it was a complete trap. They were sitting there and they had this stop sign that was not visible the way the road was and stuff like that, and they were hanging out there just pulling people over and giving people tickets. And that's part of the reason why a lot of people get very upset with police officers, that it's always this fundraiser, this fundraiser, this fundraiser. And I've noticed a lot of people kind of like just in conversation, suddenly they got a DUI, especially in places like Arizona. It's zero tolerance. If they could say anything, they could say, well, you look like you swerved, and then you could blow up point .01 or whatever. It's zero tolerance. You can't, so you don't want to mess with it, and that's kind of the issue, that they're always kind of running a fundraiser in some respects, even honestly before this recession. But I kind of expect that to ramp up a lot personally, because these cities are broke, and they're gonna continue to try to justify their existence. So that being said, what different ways have you guys seen where you've seen people clinching up on money or seen all this wild stuff going on that kind of tells you we're in a recession and things are going to get tough? Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the like button. Definitely need the help on this channel, and follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam It, Twitter, Hive, everywhere. See you guys.